Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Tech Tuesday's back. And thanks for being a little bit early. We're going to get the Facebook Live ready right now and go live. We are broadcasting on the RE/MAX INTEGRA US Facebook page. Can't wait for you all to meet our very special guest today. So I see a lot of you the numbers are flowing in. So
the numbers are growing.
They are growing. It's great. So Brandon and Lindsay, where's everyone? Let everyone know where you're coming from. Let Brandon and Lindsay know where you're tuning in from. If you're on a beach somewhere, we're jealous. Or if you're just tuning in from your office, yeah. There you go. Give us a shout out. There's chat boxes below. You're all Zoom experts now. We all are. Chat box, Q&A box, let us know. And I'm going to keep an eye on the Facebook Live audience questions and things like that. And we'll be in good shape. So hello, Facebook Live audience, by the way. Don't want you to feel left out in any way. There is a slight delay from what we're doing here on Zoom into Facebook Live. Okay, where's everyone tuning in from there?
Cranston, Rhode Island.
Nice.
Woo! Cool. That might be where that lighthouse is from.
Could be. Let's hear a shout out from where you're at, everyone. We want to hear New England. We want to see Midwest. And those of you joining us from the company-owned regions who joined us last week to see Kristen. All right, New Hampshire.
Our very own Renee Weiland. East Tennessee.
Nice. Thanks, Owen. We appreciate you tuning in. Hey, we're RE/MAX. We're all one big family. Seeing the numbers grow, and I'm seeing quite a few people on the Facebook Live. So hi, everyone. Let us know there too where you're tuning in from. I'm kind of keeping an eye on that.
Central Mass, Minneapolis. Woo!
Nice. I don't want to get
I can hear that Facebook Live.
Yep. Daytona Beach, Florida. Yes. I just booked some really cheap flights, $78 round trip from Chicago to go to Fort Lauderdale. I'm hoping I can go. I'm hoping nothing happens and with everything that's going on, but yeah, wow is right. American Airlines, it wasn't, budget airlines or anything like that. So I'm thrilled. My sister lives down there. Who else is tuning in? Hi, everyone. We got Maine. Jennifer's on Facebook from Vernon, Connecticut. Hi, Jennifer. And Lisa from Milwaukee is on Facebook watching. And Jerry, I see Jerry. She's in DeMott, Indiana. I know where you're from. You can't hide from me.
We got Diane from New Hampshire.
Yep. This is fun.
Western Mass.
All right, everyone. Welcome, everyone, officially to Tech Tuesday. It is our start time. It is 9 a.m. Central Time and 10 a.m. Eastern. Welcome to all the RE/MAXers, and I know there's some of you that might be tuning in from other time zones, so we appreciate you being here. So this is very exciting. This is the third to the last. We still have 2 more sessions after this. This series will end June 30th, and we'll take a break in July and August. We'll be back probably the latter part of August, right before Labor Day, unless there's a popular demand, which we know a lot of you have been tuning in. Just so you know, these are recorded. We've got a playlist on the RE/MAX INTEGRA YouTube channel that's called Tech Tuesday RE/MAX Business Building Series, and you can find it there. So as we do with all of our items. My name is Michelle Hoyt. I am a regional trainer for RE/MAX INTEGRA, and a lot of you in New England know Maureen Colvin. We're counterparts. And we also are bringing you lots of these webinars and tools out there. So welcome everyone that's joining us. And for those of you from the core regions, we are RE/MAX INTEGRA as your host. We love having you here. We're an independent region of RE/MAX, but we're all RE/MAX, and that's what counts. So we'd love to have you here. So what we've been doing every week is featuring agent best practices. I'm so thrilled to have our special guests today. Before we have them introduce themselves, I want to have everyone just quickly again take note of the chat box and the Q&A box. Brandon and Lindsay have a lot to share today, so we will pause at different times for questions, and then we'll also make sure they answer your questions at the end. We have allotted an hour for this, so if you are, Brandon and Lindsay, if there's still questions flowing in, we'll definitely keep you on for a little bit longer.
No problem.
It's always valuable time that you'll enjoy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and let our very special guests introduce themselves, where they're from, and they're going to tell us about their background, even more importantly, why they got in real estate. So let's start with you, Brandon. Welcome.
All right, thank you. I'm excited to share this with you guys. So my name is Brandon Sweeney. I'm with the Sold with Sweeney & Co. team at RE/MAX Insight out of Drake, Massachusetts. Now I'm a part of RE/MAX Insight, On the Move, and Advantage. Shout out to all those guys. So how I got into real estate, I kind of happened upon it. I was fresh out of college. I went to Plymouth State University. I got my first job at a roofing contractor. So I was handling a lot of his sales, his marketing, his website development, implemented a CRM for him. I was doing all the things to help him boost his business. Winter comes around, they're slower. I told him, hey, I have all of these tasks that I can get done throughout the winter to keep myself busy, to make sure that you're not wasting any money, and we will get those sales growing for the springtime. Lays me off. So I was down in the dumps for a little bit. About 2 weeks later, I get an interview it's a well-known nonprofit. I've been running my own nonprofit at that time for a couple of years. And I got this interview. It was going to be handling the region in terms of all of our kind of business affiliates and whatnot. So I got that interview. I nailed it. The only contingency that they had for me was to stop doing what I was doing with my nonprofit because it directly interfered with theirs. That wasn't something that I was willing to do. And 2 weeks later, once I turned down that interview, my mentor, she walked her dogs in my neighborhood regularly. She's been in the business for 30 years. She stopped by, said, hey, and it was kind of over from there. So I started shadowing her for about 2 months before I got my real estate license. And I've loved it ever since. So I started out with my Mass license and then went on to get my New Hampshire license.
That's excellent. Thank you so much. Lindsay, tell everyone about yourself as well also.
So hi, everybody. First of all, thank you for having me and Brandon. I'm excited to be here. So I am fairly new, and by fairly, I mean very new to real estate. I got my license at the end of 2019, and I joined my first firm in March with Brandon. So I actually come from a professional dancing background. I dance West Coast Swing professionally, and I was already kind of interested in real estate when there was an issue with my dance partner. He was actually deported from the country. He's originally from Brazil, and we lost a bunch of our contracts from that. And I had a friend who was a dancer, and he was like, hey, I know that you're looking for some kind of work right now where you can still have sort of a flexible schedule and still teach your dance classes locally. If you want to be my assistant and kind of just see what it's all about, see if you like it, like I'm happy to do that for you. So I was like, okay. So I did that because dance was my full-time job at the time. So I lost out on a lot of my income when that happened. So I ended up working with him in this really charming town of Newton in Massachusetts, which is right outside the city. And it's a lot of old Victorian, beautiful homes and colonials, and a lot of new construction as well. So I kind of just fell in love with real estate while I was doing that. And then I live in Drake, which is where Brandon and my office is, or the RE/MAX Insight office is. And I would always go to the coffee shop that was next door, and I would always bump into Brandon there because he was always working out of the coffee shop. And then we would get talking because we went to high school together. We would just catch up and we would talk about real estate, and one thing led to another. He sent me a bunch of cards in the mail that he loves to do. And I'm like, okay, well, this is right in my hometown, so it's less of a drive than where I was working before in real estate. And I have my license now, so let's go, let's start. And so obviously with coronavirus, it's been a little bit interesting starting during this time, but it's been great to work with Brandon in the meantime and just sort of learn and then play with the virtual stuff that we've been doing. So yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, so a couple lessons here for sure. Lindsay, it's going to be a breeze, I'm sure, for you after all this is over. You started out with all these, kind of like when people got in real estate during the recession in 2008. Almost the same concept for sure. But you'll definitely, I mean, you're facing challenging times right out of the gate, and that's what real estate always is. But
Mhm.
something else too, it just goes to show you hanging out in coffee shops. So broker owners, managers on this webinar, and team leaders, that when it comes to recruiting and building your team, hang out in coffee shops. It really does work. You know,
Yeah, it goes a long way.
it does. It really does. So that's awesome. So what I just got a quick question for both of you. Why did you choose Remax? What is it that you love about Remax?
So first and foremost, my mentor, she's been with Remax for 7 years. Um, Remax isn't necessarily the place that newbies go, right? They go to those other, people who recruit tons of agents. I knew from the get-go by seeing signs out in yards, by just seeing the exposure that Remax had, that it was a good platform for me to build my business off of. And without that, not to say that the brand makes the agent, but it just helps the agent succeed, and be a better agent because of all the tools and tech like this that you guys are bringing to us constantly. That's been a huge help throughout my career, and I'm in my 4th year full time, so
Awesome.
it's worked.
Love it. Lindsay, what do you love about Remax?
So yeah, same thing as what Brennan just said. And also just all of the tools online have been super helpful for me in my learning. Um, yeah, it's tough, especially when I can't really be in the field right now, to have all the tools and the webinars and the case studies and things like that for me to sort of start get my gears turning. So yeah, it's been great.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, both of you. So I know you have a lot to share. So really, when it comes to what's happening right now, I guess you've been working from home more than ever. And the topic today, everyone, is downtime tech strategies. So what do you do when you have downtime that's going to pay off in the long run? It's going to get you more business when you're actually out and about. And a lot of you have had way more downtime than you ever thought you would. It's making you crazy, but and on the other hand, it's also giving you more time with your families and your pets and everything too. So there's so many things that come out of it. So we're focusing on how do you make the most of your quiet time? How do you stay organized with all the tech and webinars and apps that are flying at you at any given time? And then still maintain your business, especially high volume of business like Brandon and Lindsay are doing. So let's start with, Brandon, we'll start with you. What new disciplines or habits have you developed since working from home, and what are you going to continue on the other side?
So if I'm being totally honest, I actually do not work from my home. My office was opened up to all of the agents. There's only a select few who actually utilize the office during this time. So I'd come into the office every single day as if I had a 9 to 5 job. And I made use of that time that I was spending here, because I felt early on, because self-employment, it was a totally new concept to me. I was used to punching a clock. So early on, I really started to set that expectation with myself to start coming into the office wearing nice clothes, dressing for success. And in all honesty, usually I would actually go to a coffee shop, but during this time I can't. Like Lindsay mentioned earlier, I'd spend 3 to 4 days there a week, getting coffee, sitting down. I had my own corner, but really it's been about consistency, and not allowing the pandemic to affect our business in a negative way. I know it has affected so many businesses negatively, but it's also positively influenced a lot of real estate agents, because we're like chameleons. We've been able to adapt so quickly and fiercely in this market and in this uncertainty. And it's just been awesome to kind of see everyone be able to kind of come out of this with new goals, new expectations, and new business. And personally, my business has never been this this busy. This is my busiest time that I've ever had in real estate in my 4 years. So it's just nice to see that all of those things that I have been doing up until this point are paying off. And it's great to see that.
It sure is. And, you know, so whether you're working at the office or at home, it's about consistency, as Brandon said. So Lindsay, how about yourself? I know you just came into this at a really interesting time, and I don't know if you worked from home before or ever, or just, I think just the matter of sitting still sounds like has been a very big change for you with the dance and everything else. So what are some, as a team and as an individual, Lindsay, what are some of the good disciplines that you've developed that you want to continue?
Yeah, so it's very new for me, like you said, because I was teaching locally in the city, but then I was also traveling and doing contracts on weekends. Yeah. So I was always on the go. I was even in new cultures and stuff. So, because I would do some international work. So being here in my home, this is actually where I grew up, in my hometown, and having to have that discipline of like, okay, I don't have my dance anymore. I am essentially my own boss right now. I'm creating a business. I need to have discipline and, you know, put in the time. I've been treating it the same way as Brandon. I'm treating it like a 9 to 5. And for me personally, I know this isn't going to relate to a lot of you, but I hope there's some new agents out there. I have just been treating it like school right now, really. So I'm bouncing ideas off of Brandon and calling him if I have any questions, which I do. But also just using the resources on Remax as much as I can, finding YouTube videos, stuff like that, and just treating it like, okay, I'm in school for 9 to 5 during the day, and I need to learn as much as I can, so that way when things do open back up and I am, you know, I do have clients in the pipeline and I can start working, I'll be ready to go and educated. But also it's been really good because Brandon has been sending me some clients too, so he's been able to leverage some of his work a little bit and also help me out. So when he gets like a buyer agent that's unrepresented, he'll send it my way, and then that's just a learning process in itself for me.
I love that. It's great.
Yeah,
for sure. So just so everyone, I mean, I'm sure there's new agents watching this right now, both on Facebook and on Zoom here, and they can all relate. And the key here is to get a mentor. So Brandon said he had one when he started. Lindsay's mentor is Brandon, and they're helping each other out. So here at Remax, you can always find someone that's willing to help your broker owner. And there's so many seasoned, experienced people, like Brandon said, at Remax, that you cannot go wrong. You can always find someone that will help you and guide you and kind of pave the way. So interesting, the next question, and by the way, everyone, Brandon will he will be sharing his screen here shortly, and he's got a lot of cool things to show you. But so Brandon and Lindsay both, and we can start with you, Brandon, at this time. So what mistakes have either you made or seen other agents make when trying to organize their technology and their apps and just trying to adopt new technology? What have you seen?
So the biggest thing that I've seen, and I've done it myself, you'll go to a conference, a webinar, and they'll tell you, download this app. Okay, you download it, then what? Are you actually using that app? Like if you're not, then you have to figure out which apps, which pieces of content are going to be utilized in your business, and something that you can utilize it on a daily basis or, you know, every other day basis. Because if you're not using that technology, what's the point in having it? You know, you can have the Cadillac of CRMs, you can have the Cadillac of websites, but if you're not using them and you're not promoting them, then there's no point in utilizing it because your time is better spent on other pieces. So even with you know, Facebook, Instagram, all of those social media platforms, I stick to a select few. You know, I'm not going crazy on TikTok, although Lindsay is a nut on TikTok. She has so many videos out there. But I've learned where my people are, and how best to connect with them.
That's great.
And that's the biggest takeaway. You know, don't overwhelm yourself with all of these social media platforms. Stick to your core few or couple. Start slow and make sure that you're utilizing them consistently.
For sure. And when you have downtime, like we're talking about, the shiny objects keep coming at you. And next thing you know it, 2 hours later, you got nothing done, but you found some really cool apps and photo editing, and you can get distracted so easily. So Lindsay, how about you? In just getting started and staying organized, she just went off camera. Oh, there you go.
My back, sorry about that.
That's okay. So now, to kind of echo what Brandon said and maybe to add to it, where are you with staying organized with all technology and making sure you're not taking on too much at any given time?
So, like Brandon said, it's really important to find which apps are giving back the most for you. So, and then eliminating the ones that aren't. So, which ones are the essentials, and which ones are almost just time wasters. I've read once, use your social media, don't be used by your social media. So that changed my outlook a lot and how I spend my time when I'm on my phone in my downtime. The main thing with that is try not to just aimlessly scroll so much. Like, it's fun and healthy to go and look at people's videos and look at memes and have fun. But I think a lot of the times when we have this downtime where we can be productive and utilizing our apps in a productive way, we end up just going and scrolling and looking through stuff and killing time instead. So I put on the screen time feature on my phone. So it tells me after I spent 15 minutes on a certain app, it tells me how long, like once I've been on there, I get notified. So that gives me a little bit of a cue to tell me if I'm not realizing it myself. But yeah, pick the essentials for you, which ones are giving you back the most, and don't be used by your social media. Use your social media.
I love that. I think we're going to put a quote out there from Lindsay. Yay. Love it a lot. We'll just put a big quote on Facebook on our page and you're good. So thank you so much. All right. So let's talk a little bit about paperless, because obviously that's part of managing your technology and your downtime. And so how much of your business is paperless if you had to break it down in a percentage? So we'll start with you, Brandon.
I'd say roughly 99% of my business is paperless. Apart from, like, I'll print out MLS listings for showings that were going on. At the end of the day, I think it's just a psychological thing for me, because they already have that information at their fingertips. Unless it's a disclosure that they aren't seeing. But I do like to have them hold something while we're walking through the property, so that they have something to kind of check. And it's almost like the check-in balances. They can look at that MLS sheet. But again, 99% of my business is paperless. So whether it's contracts, whether it's disclosures that they're signing, everything is done on Dotloop for us. I know a lot of agents, they might use DocuSign. Dotloop is just what my brokerage offered from the get-go. So I've been consistently using that. And agents in my office, they'll approach me and ask me questions on Dotloop. Just because it's much easier for people like me and Lindsay, because we didn't come from another brokerage that taught us kind of bad habits. We started out with Remax, with the best of the best. So having Dotloop at our fingertips, it's made our lives so much easier, whether it's needing clients to sign something, explaining that contract to them. So anytime I send out, a disclosure or a contract, I tell my clients, give me a call. We will discuss everything in this contract. That way it's easier for them because we don't need to be face-to-face in order to get that signed. And then, when I'm going on listing appointments, yes, I will bring that listing contract right then and there, have the pen ready for them to sign, because, hey, you might lose out on them, but it's,
the paperwork's the easy part, right? It's everything in between. That's the challenge for sure. So Lindsay, can you talk a little bit about, they have a really awesome team makeup, because Brandon admittedly, when we were on a preparation session before this, admittedly said Lindsay makes up for the things that either he hasn't learned or he doesn't want to do. So Lindsay, talk through some of the apps that you use for paperless, but then also for cloud storage, like Google Drive, Dropbox. So tell us what you do with all of that.
So if I'm being completely honest, Brandon actually takes care of most of his own work. I'm really less of an assistant for him. I'm more of like I kind of push him to like use social media, I guess. That's what he says, at least. I didn't know I did that until now, until the other day, because I'm on it so much and I'm using video all the time. And, but so yeah, I would say, so I don't know much about the business yet. There's so much for me to learn. He's been in it for 4 years now, so he knows a lot more than me. So when we teamed up, I was kind of like, okay, not only can we help each other out with traveling, like when I'm going away for dance, this was before coronavirus happened. When I'm going away, you can cover for me, and vice versa. When you want to go away, I can cover for you and do that. But then also I'm used to editing videos because of dance, and I'm used to promoting online and stuff like that. But you have the content that I need. So how can we put those skills together and create something that we can share in real estate that'll be good for both of our business? So it's more like that. But I love any Google thing. I use Google Drive, Google Photos, Google Docs, Google Sheets, all of that, because I have a Gmail. Most people do. So I'm sure you're all familiar with that. So I won't go into that too much.
No, thank you. That's incredible. And that's something I want everyone to take note of, is that there are things that you either haven't learned, don't have the time to learn, don't want to learn, but you need to be doing. So it's almost like, find out, ask your broker who in the office is good at TikTok. And I know I need to be there, but I don't know where to go. And we work something out where we help each other and kind of take a poll around to see. And it's nice that you guys have found a way to bring your strengths together, but still do your own business, which is fantastic.
And right. I'd like to kind of leverage what Lindsay said about Google. Utilizing Google Drive, I started forming, and especially during this pandemic with the downtime, I've started forming standard operating procedures. So pre-listing appointment, listing appointment, what I'm going to start branching out and doing is the buyer appointment, and kind of going from there. So I started working out those. I shared a couple of them with Lindsay. So utilizing Google Slides, your Google Word, all of those are very helpful, and it's very collaborative. So especially if you have a team, being able to kind of go back and forth with those files, it's helpful.
Mm-hmm. And Brandon has even, he does this thing where he'll record his screen and kind of run through like a document that he's trying to teach me, or just a listing or something, and he'll talk over it, and then he'll send me that file through Google, which is super helpful for me because we've been trying to stay distant for the most part during the pandemic. So it's like he's actually there because the document's there. He's talking over the document. It's all right in front of me, but he doesn't have to actually be there. So that's another tool, I don't know, for any of you team leaders out there, to train your team members. It's great.
That's excellent. And just as a quick tip, and then we're going to have Brandon share some things about social media, and Lindsay as well. So have you had to coach, or I guess the question is, how often have you had to coach your clients through using paperless systems? And because obviously now more than ever, talk us through that.
So this might sound bad, but I have not had to coach my clients.
Good.
It's just very intuitive for a lot of people. Apart from some of my clients who have never had an email or don't know how to use their email, yes, I will absolutely take that time and bring them a piece of paper to sign. I do it for some of my clients. But again, most of my clients, they have email. Dotloop walks them through exactly what they need to do. They click a box, it signs for them. It's very intuitive, but at the same time, the system, it's still a contract that you're signing. So that's why I've taken the accountability in making sure that my clients know exactly what they're signing. So I'm not just blindly sending off a contract. I am walking them through step by step on line by line. I'm not an attorney, but this is what, this clause says. So I feel like that's helpful. And my clients definitely appreciate it. There might be a hiccup here and there with Dotloop where they think it's finished signing, but it's not. So I just have to coach them through that. But the ease of use is all there.
Great. Lindsay, any points on that, or pointers, I should say?
Nope, I'm not going to take up any time on it because he has much more experience with that than I do.
Sounds good. All right, so we're going to talk about social media now, and I'll let Brandon get his screen ready, but I'm going to have, because one of the things that a lot of you may do or heard that you should be doing is time blocking, especially when it comes to social media posting or just self-promotion in general or prospecting. Obviously, social media is an incredible global tool that you can use to prospect for new business. But are you using your downtime wisely? Or are you, like I said earlier, you're just commenting and posting and loving the puppy videos and all of that? Or are you taking that time to really make sure that you're making the right connections? So Brandon, talk us through what your go-to platforms are, what should be looked at, what shouldn't be looked at when it comes to social media.
Yeah, so you'll see my screen right here. Okay, I'll try to kind of coach you through what I'm looking at right here. All right, so this is where your engagement is in there. So how you get to this is you need to have a business page. Okay, that's the Sold with Sweeney & Co. business page. You're going to go into Insights. And then you'll see this page. All right. This is where all of your insights for what kind of communication your clients are having with you, or readers are on your page, looking at your content. All right. So what I'll show you is this. All right. These are all the posts that we've sent out kind of to our audiences, and you can see which ones engage better, which ones don't. So what you'll find is when it's personalized content with a story, with a photo or video, that post is going to get so much more performance than just your cookie cutter, save money on your taxes and your utility bills. Although that's important information to share, it's not getting the engagements or reactions that you'd hope to get. But I do use a system, and let me just see if I can find it up here on my screen. So I use Back at You Media. This was actually provided to us by our brokerage. Great tool to be using. It helps you schedule out content, and it also posts content for you. So it's already scheduling that content. And it gives us a piece of content every other day that we can post out to our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our Twitter page. I do have Twitter. I am not active on it whatsoever. This just keeps me active on it. So just going back to Facebook.
Hey, Brandon, Can I just make a quick comment, just so everyone knows, Back at You Media is also the same company that does the social media ads through Design Center Automation. So in case if you've ever gone through and built or paid for a social media ad, when you get that Design Center Automation email, Back at You Media is the company that does that. So that's great that Brandon's showing that.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal system to be using. It just keeps your content very very engaging, and it keeps it consistent for you. So when you don't have the time to post, this is already posting for you. So I'll just, let me find, all right. Here's a video that I'll share with you guys. Videos get so much more engagement than your typical post on Facebook, and more engagement than your typical photo on Facebook. So just a little something here. All right, ready for this?
I don't think we have volume. Let's see. When you share your screen, there's a choice to add volume, or actually go to the right-hand side and see if there is, yeah, there you go. No.
Nice frozen shot of me with a man filter on.
I know.
Filter. I don't actually look like that.
The first time I saw that, I had to do a double take, so.
Yeah, it's that Snapchat filter. It like changes you to the opposite.
Brandon, stop sharing your screen and then go to reshare it, and then you can share your volume. Before you hit share, click on share screen, and then there's a button to the left that says share volume. There you go. Just a little Zoom tip for everyone. So click share screen in the green folder, and then on the left-hand side, you'll see a add computer volume. We'll get there.
Hey Chuck, how's it going?
Hey, there we go.
After a lot of thought, we decided that we're going to move forward with your buyer's offer. Congratulations, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. 'Cause all I do.
Oh, that's great news. I'm excited. I'm very excited to work with you, and let me know if you need anything. I'll have my clients drop off the first deposit check, and I'll let you know when we're setting up the inspections for. Thank you very much.
And they stay there, and they say yeah.
That's great. You got to have fun with it, right?
Yes.
You're on mute, Brandon.
Again, this is something that Lindsay helps me do. It's stepping out of my comfort zone, because my videos historically have been Facebook Live videos, where I'm just, sitting in one place, just chatting, and those get engagement. So with something like this, I was able to repurpose this video to go on my YouTube channel, onto Instagram, with IGTV. So utilizing this in different capacities, putting it on your stories, it's just content that you can repurpose and utilize in every aspect possible. Soon this will be on my website. So again, it's just silly things like this, but that silliness and allowing our personalities to kind of shine through, that helps us engage with our clients, and it makes more meaningful connections with our clients. The shares on that were unbelievable. This is just from my business page, but if you've ever heard me talk before, my business page and my personal page, I would choose my personal page all day long because of the engagement that gets. the business page is there to share content. But realistically, it's really just there to show a presence. Your people are going to be looking you up on the internet. If they can start seeing the consistency, sold with Sweeney Co., sold with Sweeney Co., sold with Sweeney Co., going on Google, finding sold with Sweeney & Co., all of that is going to be meaningful to them because they understand that you're on the web, right? They understand that you're a real person and you have, real pages that all link back to the same spot.
Brandon, can I have you pause for a second here? I cannot stress enough about Google My Business Profile. A lot of you that are especially in my region or have been on my webinars have heard me talk about this a lot. And Brandon has a complete profile for his business on Google. By the way, it's free, everyone. So if you haven't claimed your profile, the key with it though, to be favored in Google rankings, like say someone types in, notice what he typed in the keywords in the top box there. And he shows up because he actually has reviews. So Google reviews are everything. So part of Downtime tech strategies, I'm sure for both of you, is managing those reviews, responding to those reviews, and then just making sure you get them, right?
Yeah, so that's been a huge part of what I've been doing as of late, and I'll show you another tool that I've been using. This is actually something that I've been using since day one. It's called Real Satisfied. We actually got membership through Playster because they're partners. When we did away with Playster, I decided, listen, this is a great platform that I'm going to keep supporting because I think it's $80 for the year. But it helps me collect reviews. So anytime I have a closing, this automatically sends me a reminder because it's connected to my MLS. It automatically sends me a reminder to send out an invitation for a survey to my past clients. All I need to do is fill out their name, their email address, and it does the rest. So this allows the system to post it to realtor.com in that whole party. Zillow, you have to allow the system to send them out a link, and then they have to click into Zillow, and then Zillow makes them, do X, Y, and Z in order to post their own review. But at the end of the day, this helps me collect reviews, and I'm sharing this on any listing appointment or any buyer presentation appointment, 5-star reviews across the board. And again, I'm 4 years into the business and I have 24 customer reviews. I have about a 60% respond rate. That's what this tells me anyway. So it helps you track who has sent a review, who hasn't, who's bounced back, and so on and so forth. So utilizing reviews and utilizing your Google My Business page. The reason why I actually stumbled upon Google My Business was because I was looking myself up regularly. I knew that I needed a business page. So I set that all up, and I think this was maybe a couple months into the business. I set that all up, and then I started getting spam reviews, and I'd get email notifications to those spam reviews. Well, guess what? Those spam reviews weren't just targeting me, they were targeting my competition and other people in my office. So when I noticed I was getting spam reviews, I went through the process to get those removed. But in that meantime, I actually posted out to my social media and I asked for positive reviews. They're not lying when they say, Brandon Sweeney is a great guy. He's honest, integrity, so on and so forth. A lot of these reviews, or a few of the reviews, they started because of those negative reviews. So once I got Google to remove those negative reviews, I was at the top of the list for any, Drake and Mass Realtor, Drake at Realtor, Realtor in Lowell. I was showing up in a lot of those search results. And I still, to this day, I get a snapshot from Google saying how people were finding me. And that's super helpful. So making sure that you have a complete page and presence on Google, it makes all the difference in the world. And just recently, I had a closing with a gentleman who he found me on Google. It was a home that I listed for $550,000. So for a free advertisement, basically, he found me on Google. He saw my reviews. He invited me to his home. This was the first listing appointment that Lindsay saw kind of through and through. So from listing appointment to closing, she saw everything that went on during that transaction. But that guy found me on Google. And he interviewed other agents because he found them on Google. So people are using it, so you need to be using it as well.
That's a great story. A good testimonial for claiming your Google My Business profile. And just so everyone knows, there's lots of resources on where to find that on YouTube. There's a Google for Small Business YouTube channel. You can find videos on how to set it up. They do have a support line that you can call Google. You might have to pay to get support, but some of it's free, and you just have to do it. And as he mentioned, the reviews, the good thing is anyone can write a review for you on your Google My Business profile, which means they don't have to be a buyer or seller. So you could have other small business owners write one, your preferred partners. Now, the bad news is anyone can write a review for you on Google. So then, and as Brandon talked about, you might get some spam, some bots, as they call them, might just accidentally type a bunch of things. So you can go to Google, you can have those removed. Once in a while, you're gonna have someone who's not 100% happy with you. And if it's legitimately that, then the best thing to do is to respond publicly and say, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm going to contact you to make this right. And then just kind of go from there. But that looks great.
You'll see, I will respond to every single post on there because, again, when people are looking at your page, they're looking at the reviews and they want to see that you're responsive, that you actually care about your business. So that's, again, perfectly said, Michelle. You need to be responding to these reviews. Yeah. So you'll see on my Zillow page or my Realtor.com page, I'm responding to every single review, just commenting, saying thank you so much for working with me. You know, yada yada. Maybe telling a little story. People love stories, so you need to become a good storyteller. And just to
I like
share,
that.
I'll jump over to my business page. So you'll notice, again, amidst this craziness and amidst this downtime, I decided to really dive into rebranding. So Lindsay joined me in March. Mm-hmm. About a month later, I started down the path of I need to really focus my time and energy into rebranding, getting a logo set up, getting a new website set up. So everything kind of follows the same theme. It's clean, it's elegant. So I started doing these posts, started doing, reviews. So you can repurpose this content everywhere you go. I know Real Satisfied, they will post reviews for you onto your page, but I decided I wanted everything to be kind of uniform in utilizing the same fonts and the same styles. And again, I'm not sugarcoating anything my clients are saying. I'm just copy and pasting, and I'll show you where I created those in a second. But you'll see, the content is spread out. Just sold. Again, I repurposed that video and put it onto my Instagram page. Positive reviews. Those
Brandon,
are all over the place.
Brandon, I think you bringing up some very good ideas for the audience here. So for everyone on Facebook and on Zoom here, this is a fantastic way to like you said, repurpose, but to promote your own reviews. It's one thing when you get them and then you kind of move on and to the next review. But if you go back and you utilize those reviews to promote yourself and your business, there's no shame in self-promotion, as we always say. This is an excellent way to do it, to use these graphics, and it looks fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. This is what I was looking to show you. So again, like I said, my personal pages, I'm a real estate agent, and I understand that real estate is my business, but it's also my life. It's my livelihood. This is how I make my money. And you're in a very public kind of position as a real estate agent. So anytime I have a closing, look at the key. That is in every single closing. And at this point in time, I don't even have to tell my clients, hey, we're going to take a picture, or I don't have to ask them, hey, do you mind taking a picture? No, they're asking me because they already see it on social media. They've seen it 20, 40, 50 times already. And it's just become a prop that, like, my good friend, I'm working with him currently. He's not under contract yet, but he will be soon. He already asked me, hey, so when we close, I get to hold that key, right? So people are already, they know what to expect now because they already see it constantly throughout my social media pages. So I will, I'll actually show you this guy right here. See if we can go full screen with that. Might not show up right, but. All right. So something like this, the production value on this was the cost of my drone. I've owned a drone for a couple of years, shot a bunch of different kind of areas of the home. But realistically, that video did not cost me a thing. My clients loved it. And again, I was able to repurpose that video for multiple platforms. I was able to put this on YouTube. I was able to put it on Instagram. I was able to put it on Facebook, both personal and business pages. So again, during this downtime, you don't have to just kind of throw in the towel. I've heard of agents who want to hang up their licenses because they're slow right now. Just get out there, get your kind of content out there, and you don't have to do it constantly, right? You might want to do it, every couple days, 3 times a week, whatever you feel comfortable with, but just start doing it consistently.
That's great advice, Brandon, to everyone. So by the way, everyone, just want to have you take note of the chat box and the Q&A box. Please ask questions for Brandon and Lindsay. We have other things to talk about, but we'd love to hear from you. I know they would love to hear from you. So I'm going to watch Facebook audience. This goes for you as well. So bring those questions in. They are the go-to experts on our session today, and they are willing to share all. So just as a quick side note, so first of all, this is fantastic on social media. Just in case you didn't know, as you can see, Brandon's on Instagram on his desktop, and a lot of you probably didn't know you could do that. So it's not just on the phone. You can't post on desktop.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
So we did want to, just to kind of show you how I created those, I'll pull it up again. Where's my Instagram? So I'll go to Sold with Sweeney Co. All right. So the way I create these posts like that is through a system called Canva. It's my personal design center. I know that we have a design center, but it's top notch. By the way, this is a free platform to use. You just have to, there's a little, ease of use. You got to learn how to use it, but overall this post took me, I don't know, maybe a half hour to 45 minutes, just setting everything up, the layout, because again, I'm very specific with what I like. So I created this post, and again, I can repurpose this post, delete out the picture, and put a new picture in there. So just wanted to kind of go off on a side note there. But everything in here is fully customizable by logo, all of that information in there. You can swap out pictures. So when Lindsay, has new listings and whatnot, I will be promoting that on her behalf, changing out all of this information so that, again, our exposure is out there, and we're leveraging those listings to get more listings and more buyers.
So really the running theme today is efficiency and using technology, developing those good technology habits. First of all, I know there's a huge fan club here at RE/MAX that loves Canva. So the RE/MAX creative group, if you haven't joined it, you should definitely do that. We had Kristen Long on last week, who's one of the founding members of that. So Canva is fantastic. Next week's Tech Tuesday will be on Photofy, which is a paid product. It's $4 a month. So we're going to have an Indiana broker on with me who's going to talk all through Photofy, but this is awesome. So Lindsay and Brandon have developed a system where they've taken the time initially to create these things, and then they go back and they just swap out photos to save time and efficiency. Just as out of curiosity, do you use any apps for productivity?
So in terms of, so productivity, so for me, making sure that I'm keeping track of my database, that is number one. So I use a CRM called LionDesk. Again, RE/MAX, it provides you a tool. Booge, use it. Again, all of my content is on my LionDesk, and I actually have a custom number through LionDesk. So that's why it's taking me a little time to go over to Booge, but I have a texting center in here. I can text whoever I want from my contact list. I can track all of my deals on the system, so I know exactly what I have coming in to the dollar amount. That got a little personal. You saw my dashboard, but it's, at the end of the day, again, keeping track of your clients, having your past clients, cold clients, nurturing clients, actives. So having all of that information in one place, it helps you wildly, because then you can track any communications you have with them. And again, if you're texting out from this system and they reply back to that text, you have a screenshot of that text. You know exactly what was said, what wasn't said. From a liability standpoint, it helps you in that regard.
Would you mind sharing the cost of LionDesk?
So I actually just paid for it for the year. It's $250 for the year. And that includes my custom number. And I wish I had that on me. You might actually see it on. So my custom number, I use that when I'm promoting. Might have it. Okay. So instead of this coming soon, I have a custom rider that says text home for more info. And it has my custom number right underneath that. So that and yes, that the back windshield of my car, I can see through it, but it's fully branded, and it's the Sold Mobile.
That looks great.
So let me just go back in through this system. So again, it's the text to call. Again, you text home to this number, and it will send you the property website for one of my listings. I forget which one I had this set up for, but this is what it would you would receive 13 Sellers Way. Okay, so because it's now sold, that number no longer works. But
That's
that
the only
brings
time you want that error is that the property sold,
Yeah.
right?
so
As a quick, so we've been talking a lot about how you generate business and get your name out there. So how do you use LionDesk or any other tools to stay in touch with your database?
So using LionDesk, I have drip campaigns set up.
Okay.
So anytime a new lead were to be generated from my website, my Facebook, really anywhere someone could find me, utilizing those codes, they're automatically set up on a drip campaign. So as soon as that contact comes into my database, they're already being nurtured. They get a personalized phone call. They then get personalized emails every so often. Personalized text. Again, the system does it all for me. So it's kind of that one-stop shop that I was looking for. But anytime a customer comes in and I have their address, and Lindsay can attest to this, I'm using this system.
Yeah.
Again, I use a lot of systems, but I use them productively in unison with one another.
Mhm.
So I'm a Buffini guy. I'm a Buffini follower. So the handwritten card, it still seals the deal. But at the end of the day, just to kind of show you some cards that I've sent from here.
These are awesome. I love this.
I've heard that send out cards.
Yeah.
So one of my clients, she just had a baby. So I stole this from her Facebook page. That is a picture of baby Sophia. I put Jeff and Britt, I'm so happy for you guys. Sophia is beautiful. I can't wait for you to be able to welcome her to your new home. They're closing on their new home in a few weeks. And then this is the back panel. So I sent brownies along with this card. But that it's the technology that helps us better connect and better communicate with our database and our clients, and soon to be clients. But this system has helped me nurture those clients. And it's also helped me land listings, because as soon as I'm leaving a listing appointment that maybe they're interviewing other agents, I'm already sending them a card with maybe brownies, or just to again seal that deal, and make them remember you.
So Brandon, what is the turnaround time from the time you create the card to getting it sent out? And then of course, I'm sure the audience wants to know what the cost is.
So it's 3 days typically 3 days for them to receive the card. These guys have been getting blasted during this time, because again, if you start using the system, you don't want to stop. And I've definitely been sending out way more cards than I was when it wasn't the pandemic. Now this system is a little more costly. But again, I was sending cards out religiously anyway. So let's say I was sending out 5 cards a day times 5 days a week. I was sending out 25 cards a week. All right. Each card might cost you 50 cents for postage, another maybe $1 for the actual card. So you're looking at $1.50 per card. Well, again, this saves me time and energy. So it's $100 a month, but I'm also an affiliate, so I pay a little extra amount there. But at the end of the day, this system is unreal, and it helps boost that productivity.
I think it looks great. Are there any questions from anyone, whether it's on Facebook, chat? Everyone, anything you want to comment on? We should definitely be thanking Lindsay and Brandon for sharing all that they've shared. Please, we're almost at the top of the hour, but we want to hear from you. They've shown us a lot today, which has been fantastic. So we talked a little bit about video. what have you done with video to stay in touch with clients, or I guess in general in your business? Where would you rank video as a key component of your business besides social media?
So in terms of my new buyer meetings, I've had probably 6 or 7 new buyer meetings during this pandemic. And all of those have been conducted via Zoom, WebEx, or a combination of the two. WebEx, I actually use that more because there's no time limit. Whereas with Zoom, you have a 40-minute time limit. So that's kind of where I get off.
On the free account, it's only
on the free account, yes.
Pro account, pretty much unlimited. So, but
so
you're right.
I try to count my pennies wherever possible. But then I, again, utilize all these different resources. So when I'm having those, it's basically face-to-face. When you have that video meeting, it is so much more powerful than just a phone call. So much more powerful than just talking through email or text. It puts a face with the name, and my clients definitely appreciate it. Sometimes we'll have a morning meeting when, I might send them, a Dunks card, because again, with send-out cards, you can send, gift cards and stuff like that. So I might send them a Dunks card and we'll have a coffee meeting. So allowing us, the system, these video conferences, these meetings, they just affirm that position with your client. Because I know, for one, I'm so much more engaging, maybe, or I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but when I'm face to face, that's when the magic happens. So texting or phone calls, it's not as powerful as kind of belly to belly.
Well, for sure. I mean, that's when you're your true authentic self. So Pamela says, thank you very much. So insightful. I wish I had 100 hours to go through all of this. Your ideas are wonderful. So thanks for the shout out, Pam. I mean, I think we wanted to make sure you knew what a really, first of all, one of our best teams in the region is doing to manage their technology, because I know that's a challenge for all of you. And I don't think at any point in time, in fact, I know during this time, you did not ever hear them say, go out and just keep buying things. More like streamline it, right? Mm-hmm. And make it easy. So please feel free to ask questions. We'll take last call for questions. But in the meantime, we're going to have Brandon and Lindsay bring this home. And what final words of advice would you give to all of your peers on both Facebook and on Zoom here as to how to not let technology overwhelm them and take over their lives?
I think Lindsay said it best earlier. Want to reaffirm that quote?
Yeah. Use your social media. Don't be used by social media.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, so for me, the one thing that I learned from my dance career that I'm trying to bring into my real estate is not to take yourself too seriously and don't be a perfectionist. So just like in dance, as it is in real estate, you want to take your job seriously and be competent and go, do that extra effort and be good at your job, and also not take yourself too seriously. So perfectionism is just going to kill your productivity, especially on social media. And it's also going to use up so much of your time. If you're spending all this time trying to perfect one of your videos or one of your posts on your social media, you're not being efficient. So try to get in the practice of, okay, I'm going to spend 2 minutes on this post max, and however it ends up, just send it out there. And the more you start doing that, you're going to see, okay, I'm starting to build a brand here. People aren't like picking me apart, and people are going to judge you anyway, no matter what you do, whether you're perfect or not. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, just don't take it too seriously that you're wasting time, right? Just do what you have to do, interact with people and get off. And I'm going to say one more thing. I love to send video to people and to post video, but also I have found, I just want to share this with you, using like the voice recording for Facebook Messenger and for text message has been really useful for me. From a liability standpoint, yeah, I guess, you know, you can't see what what the conversation was, but sometimes, most of the time, texting takes me longer than it would to just talk, but I also don't want to get on the phone with them at that moment. So I'll do a voice recording. I'll send a 30-second or 45-second voice recording to that person, and they respond to me with, wow, I didn't know this feature existed. Like, thank you for your thoughtful message. And I'm like, it's the same thing that I would have texted to you, but now because it's my voice, it's thoughtful and special and they love it. So that's a great way to be efficient and to connect with people on a more like personal level.
For sure. I've done that as well, and it is effective.
Yeah.
Just to kind of piggyback off of what Lindsay just said. So that video that I shared earlier of us popping the bottle of champagne, the production cost of that was the bottle of the champagne, and we actually found that in the fridge. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it took us 30 minutes to record everything. And then it took Lindsay, because she's a whiz at Splice, it took her another 30 minutes to put it all together. So an hour of time produced that level of video. And again, it wasn't completely polished, but we spent the time that we needed to on it. And again, we were able to leverage that in every aspect possible. And I'll actually leave you with this video, because again, we talked about TikTok for a second there. And I just want to push you over to this video. Are you seeing a TikTok screen right now?
I am. You shared your volume too, right? You forgot. Okay, stop share, and then go back in.
Okay, yep, it's shared. There we go.
Perfect. Can't wait.
So again, this was kind of at the height of Corona. Lindsay wanted to promote herself, and this is how she did it.
Hey, so you bagged him. I'm a savage. Classy, bougie, ratchet. Sassy, moody, nasty. Hey, so you bagged him. I'm a savage.
So handing out my card like hashtag Corona, I can't see, hashtag COVID, hashtag Remax. But again, just allowing your personality to show through. I'd say that's the biggest takeaway that you guys should be taking from this. Allowing that personality to show through and being engaging with your clients and customers.
Thank you so much. We got some thanks for your comments. Tracy says, thank you. This has been very engaging. We appreciate you being here, Tracy. Jane says, spectacular job, great energy this morning. Thanks for sharing your insights. And Diane also says, thanks for sharing. I too say to Brandon and Lindsay, you have both been incredible. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to all of you on Facebook and Zoom for joining. This has been recorded. It will be shared afterwards. Brandon and Lindsay, you guys are amazing. Thanks for all you do for Remax. And everyone, keep them in mind for referrals in their marketplace. You can find them on Max Center. All right. We're signing off from Tech Tuesday. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.